TV, and I'm here to do a K-pop drama review of My Love from Another Star, episode 18. And oh, it's getting so good, and I'm really just loving every episode. I've watched up to episode 19, but I wanted to do 18 specifically this time. And there's so much to talk about because I want to talk about every little scene, but I'll try to cut to the chase. Left off with Do Min-jun, or Do Manager, with Chung Sung-yi at this mountaintop getaway vacation romantic thing happening. And she's frantically looking for Do Manager, can't find him. She's panicking because she thinks that he went back to his star. He is around the corner and he's just kind of watching her just completely fall apart without him. And so when he gets up to her, he's saying, I'm not going to leave you, not now, not a month from now, not 2 months from now, I'm going to stay with you. But then you see some kind of like weird you see a weird cut in scene, and he's disintegrating, like his hands leaving, his feet's leaving, and you're just kind of like, no! Is that what is going to happen if you stay? And I'm just like, don't stay then! So while that's happening up on the mountainside in the getaway cabin romantic duo, Ji-hyun is confronting his brother with his brother's ex-wife, who was in the mental institution for 7 years because Ji-hyun stuck her there with the prosecutor, with the detectives. And basically, Ji-hyun's denying everything. He's like, oh, I thought you went abroad. I let you go abroad. Were you stuck in the mental institution this whole time? I didn't know that. And then, of course, Ji-hyun's like, oh, that was your last chance. That was your last chance to fess up, go along with the rest of your life. You know, there was some hope, some redemption, but now you're not even my Hyung anymore. You are just this psycho person. You're just a stranger to me. And basically he's saying that he's gonna do whatever he can to save Chung Sung-yi, his family, himself, and even his brother in the process, because he's really only going into further and further decline, probably going to kill more people because no one's stopping him. And oh my goodness, so then you go back to the scene with Chung Sung-yi and Do Manager, and there's there's 2 bedrooms actually, but she makes excuse after excuse, like why they have to sleep together. And he's like, you are so forward. And then she just pats the bed beside her, and he's like, come on, get in bed. And she's just so cute because you're kind of like, I don't know if Ji-hyun is kind of like, some of that kind of comes out for her, some of her real life comes out, but I just feel like she's just not playing a part. I feel like that's kind of really her, because I mean, she's playing a top star, and she is a top star. So I don't think this is a real stretch for her, except for the fact that she's in love with a 400-year alien. So in the morning they wake up, and then Do Manager is just kind of giving her a cute look and says, come on, get ready, let's go eat some breakfast. And she's like, will you levitate me like the last time? I wasn't sure about last time, but now, you know, could you levitate me? And I think because he's just a little bit spending too much time on Earth, he's a little bit too close to Chung Sung-yi. He's trying, and nothing. It just goes. What's even funnier is Chung Sung-yi's reaction. She's like, maybe it's, you know, something this, something that. He's like, no, I was just tired. He was giving all kinds of like funny excuses, a little bit kind of embarrassed. And so she started saying things like, well, maybe you should try some deer antler, or maybe you should do this, or maybe because of this. And basically, if she might as well have said, hey, why don't you try some Viagra, because you were just kind of a little bit impotent earlier. And the reason why I think that that's kind of like the hidden, well, not the underlying kind of joke, the running little joke there, it's because deer antlers is supposedly a remedy for impotence. So, dear Chung Sung-yi, you're being very cute and very like jabbing at Do Manager's failed attempt at levitating you. Then you go to the hilarious moment when Do Manager and Chung Sung-yi goes back to the condos, and Chung Sung-yi's mom's like out there, and she's like, you know, how dare you, Do Manager, to take my daughter on an overnight trip? Don't you know what that means? You should be marrying her. And then this is where Lawyer John comes in to defend his son, and he's like, you know, my son, he was an innocent before he saw your daughter, and you know, she's been pursuing him, and she's been flirting with him. And then the mom's like, have you? Chung Sung-yi's like, well, yeah. And the mom's like, stop it. And then the lawyer's like, you were chasing him, weren't you? And she's like, yeah. And it's so funny because she has no remorse, she has no regret. And then mom's like, oh my gosh. But then Do Manager puts an end to it all. And he's like so formal, so like maybe 1920s conversation style, archaic Korean. He's like, oh, madam, you know, this and this and this. And basically kind of apologizing to her in a very archaic form of Korean. And so she's like to Lawyer Jung, how old is your son? And so she got confused because both Chung Sung-yi and the mom's a little bit ditzy but very cute. So I can see how they're related. It just gets cuter and cuter in this episode because then you see Chung Sung-yi in her room doing this super aegyo, like pyung pyung and like ee, and just like, it was almost to the point like if it wasn't so over to the top, I'd be like, oh, nails on chalkboard, nails on chalkboard. But it was so cute, it was so over the top. And she's like, oh, don't manager, this and this. And she's totally going overboard. And that's where her brother and the mom just kind of like peek in around the corner going, oh, she's going crazy, she's going crazy. And then Do Manager is like trying to come to the room, but of course his powers are just kind of going wonky. And so he actually sails into the middle of the street, teletransports there, and then he's like, I can't make it, maybe some other time. So it was actually just cute scene after cute scene in this episode, and I am so loving Do Manager, Chung Sung-yi, and this drama. So then you go to the interrogation of Jae-kyung, the father and Hee-kyung interacting, and it's just a mess. And it's almost like the father has so much power that he's kind of overlooking and cleaning up after Jae-kyung, but it's almost like he's making matters worse. He's creating a bigger monster that's not even going to be able to control later. So, you know, I kind of hope that the father, Jae-kyung and Hee-kyung's father, will wake up and smell the coffee. Another hilarious scene where Do Manager and Chung Sung-yi's little brother go to see the Chung Sung-yi's dad and to get permission for Do Manager to date Chung Sung-yi. And there is a pompous guy, and he's just being a jerk to the dad, and the little brother was going to go up and like beat up the guy. But Do Manager had other plans and basically just scares the heck out of that little twerp and then blows out the tires. And so kind of like putting it to the little jerky guy and then also like freaking everybody else out. It was a very cute little scene. Okay. All right, so the dad during the dinner time makes Do Manager drink, and you know what happens when Do Manager drinks. His powers just go off all not helter-skelter, but off kilter, and then oh my goodness. So Yoon-jae is trying to walk Do Manager home, and then Do Manager's, oh, we're home, and he like shoves him into a telephone booth, which is hilarious because Yoon-jae's like, this isn't home, and poof, they go into Chung Sung-yi's house, and they land on the couch, and then Yoon-jae's like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then all of a sudden, Do Manager grabs for water, but it just floats across the air, and then he drinks the water, which just blows Yoon-jae's mind. I mean, he already loves stars, looking at stars. And then, okay, so Chung Sung-yi's mom comes in and then starts yelling at Do Manager, and then Yoon-jae's like, you can't yell at my Hyung, and then he like puts him on his back and he carries him to the room. And then you see Do Manager kind of wake up from the little, you know, stupor, drunken stupor, and then Yoon-jae's like all staring at him like in awe, like. Then you have an E.T. moment. You remember E.T. from like the 1970s, I think. And then he's like, I want to touch your finger. He wants to do the E.T. thing with the finger and the little boy. Oh my gosh, it was so cute and so funny. And then in the background was the E.T. music. I mean, it was just like, and Do Manager's just like, I'm not that one. I'm not, okay, fine. All right, then you get to the date where Do Manager suggests that Chung Sung-yi and him go out on a date to Namsam Tower, and she's thinking, okay, this is one of those things that couples do in that very lengthy time, but they're squishing it all in 1 month. Well, now not anymore because Do Manager said he would stay. And then so they're kind of sitting there, and then so it cuts back and forth, like you see his point of view and you see her point of view. In her point of view, it's like nothing special happens the whole dinner. Like other things are happening to other couples, but for her it was just dinner, and she was kind of like twiddling her thumbs and not really thinking much of it. But in the background, what you see is Do Manager getting a ring I was gonna say a ring to ask her to marry her. He did balloons and like a sign and everything that was so cute. But at the last minute, he would freeze time and stop things because I think for some reason he just can't seem to like do it because he knows that either he's gonna disintegrate or he's gonna die or something bad's gonna happen in the future, and he doesn't want to leave Chung Sung-yi like that devastated. So he just kind of wants to keep everything steady. So then, you know, Chung Sung-yi is so devastated. She's so sad because, you know, she has high expectations because she's Chung Sung-yi and, you know, things happen for her, like, you know, chop chop. So the dinner wasn't going the way she thought it would with like a little bit of romance, but it was just a nice dinner. And so during the car ride home, dough manager could tell that she's a little bit sad. And so he's like, okay, go upstairs, wait for me at my place, because I have a surprise for you. And she's kind of like, okay, so she got all happy again. She's kind of simple in that way. It's like, it doesn't take a grand, big party to make her happy. She's pretty much happy if she could just spend time with dough manager. So then dough manager takes off to go do something, and that's when Chung Sung-yi gets a little bit nosy and starts reading his journal. Naughty, naughty Chung Sung-yi. She reads the journal and realizes that he also thinks that he thinks that he's going to disintegrate, die if he stays on Earth. And then the rivers of tears come down because she knows that he's given up so much for her and just to make her happy. Aww. So this Korean drama, it's just so good. I love it. It's so far-fetched, but because of the acting is so good, even on the secondary level characters, that it's believable, it's very engaging. I can totally see why it's hitting the 20% mark. I'm glad that they did an extra episode because this is episode 18 and I already watched 19 that I'm gonna do a recap on. So there's only 2 more episodes left, and I absolutely love Kim Soo-hyun. He's such a great actor. Even his intonations, the way he pronounces things, his style, his demeanor, it is a 400-year-old alien, and that's where it captures my heart because he's so true to character. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about this Korean drama, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!